Okay. Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please rise and remain standing for the processional as we receive the graduating class of 2016. President Wilson, the Faculty Chair of the South Dakota School of Mines and Technology, Dr. Rod Rice, has installed the mace. Please lead the procession of faculty and platform guests. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 174th commencement of the South Dakota School of Mines and Technology. As we convene this commencement, please remain standing for the posting of the colors by our Army ROTC Color Guard cadets. Gentlemen, please remove your hats. Post the colors. Please be seated. Seated near our graduates are special guests, including Seth Lipsky, husband of our speaker, Amity Schlaze. At this time, it is my honor to introduce our university's 18th president, Dr. Heather Wilson.
Thank all of you for joining us on this special day as we celebrate the educational achievements of 3 associates, 100 baccalaureates, 50 masters, and 12 doctoral students. I particularly want to welcome and thank the families of our graduates. This is a very special day for all of you, and you deserve to be bursting with pride. There are no easy degrees at the South Dakota School of Mines. It took a lot of hard work for these men and women to make it to this milestone, and most of them didn't do it alone. So graduates, take this chance to turn around, find that special person in the audience, give them a thumbs up or a hey or a thank you or whatever it is you do in your family, and say thank you. Thanks for helping. Thank you all for listening, for funding, for encouraging, for pestering, for the care packages and the text messages and the understanding. All of us in this room, and particularly our graduates, owe a debt of thanks to the people of South Dakota and to the alumni of this university. We are blessed to live in a nation that values education, and exceptional education is expensive. Every hard-earned dollar that you spent on tuition was matched by 2 hard-earned dollars from taxpayers, alumni, and companies who helped make it possible for you to get a college degree at a price you and your families can afford, making the South Dakota School of Mines the best return on investment for a public college education in America. Or as we like to say, smart kids go to MIT, and really smart kids go to the South Dakota School of Mines. The appropriate response to that generosity is gratitude. It is to be thankful that we live in a nation that provides education and opportunity, not just for the privileged, but to every American willing to work hard for it. It is up to all of us, and in the future, up to you as graduates to keep that opportunity for education accessible to the next generation of young Americans. Each year at commencement, we honor alumni who have distinguished themselves in their professions and their communities. At this time, I'd like to welcome Dr. Larry Simonson, a 1969 electrical engineering graduate of the School of Mines and director of our Alumni Association. Dr. Simonson will introduce this year's Distinguished Alumni Award recipients. Dr. Simonson.
Thank you, President Wilson. The Distinguished Alumni Program was started in 1998 to recognize outstanding contributions to engineering and science by SD Mines graduates. With the 5 awards today, the total number of distinguished alumni honorees now totals 92. I hope the career accomplishments of today's honorees will inspire the class of 2016 to also excel in their professional work. You will find full versions of the biographies in the commencement program. It is now my honor to introduce the 2016 Distinguished Alumni Award recipients. Dale Bryson is a 1960 graduate of the School of Mines majoring in civil engineering. Dale spent his entire career as a public servant in the field of environmental protection, most of it with the EPA. He was designated by the U.S. government as the country's water expert to lead an international team to review water pollution, drinking water, and wetlands protection programs. His work with the U.S. Congress and foreign governments has helped develop policies to abate the use of toxic chemicals in water systems worldwide. President Clinton awarded Dale a prestigious rank award for meritorious executive service. Dale credits the School of Mines for teaching him 3 fundamental principles: learning how to think, learning how to analyze information, and learning how to solve problems. Dale, congratulations on being named a 2016 Distinguished Alumni Award recipient. Bob Glodowski, a 1967 graduate of the South Dakota School of Mines with a major in metallurgical engineering, is recognized as a world leader in the science and technology of steels and alloys. He has earned 2 patents and has authored hundreds of technical publications. His international work continues to focus on setting worldwide standards for the steel industry. In 2002, Bob received the prestigious Mordecai Award, which is presented annually to one individual worldwide to recognize the contributions to the knowledge base of the wire and cable industry. He is the sole proprietor of RJG Metallurgical, LLC, providing limited metallurgical consulting services. Bob, congratulations on being named a 2016 Distinguished Alumni recipient. Dr. Mary Himmler graduated from the School of Mines in 1988 with a degree in chemistry. She received her Doctor of Medicine degree from the University of South Dakota and has spent her career providing care to severely injured military service members and veterans. She is currently the medical director for traumatic brain injuries at the Minneapolis VA Medical Center and associate professor at the University of Minnesota School of Medicine. Before moving to Minneapolis, she was the chief inpatient rehabilitation at the Walter Reed Army Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland. Dr. Himmler's interest in her chosen profession started as a volunteer firefighter and an EMT when she was a student at the School of Mines. Mary, congratulations on being named a 2016 Distinguished Alumni Award recipient. Susan Opp graduated from the School of Mines in 1985 with a degree in electrical engineering. She has had a dynamic 30-year career with L3 Communications in Salt Lake City and currently serves as an executive vice president and corporate senior vice president. L3 is one of the largest defense contractors in the United States. Susan has led highly technical engineering and manufacturing organizations and currently leads 5,000 people in her division. Susan, congratulations on being named a 2016 Distinguished Alumni Award recipient. John Rathbun is president of Austin International Incorporated in Cleveland, Ohio. He graduated from the School of Mines in 1984 with a degree in mining engineering. Austin International produces explosives for the mining industry and others. It operates in over 20 countries in Latin America and Europe, with sales in another 80 countries. Under his watch, over the past 12 years, company revenues have increased on an average of over 20% annually, with an even greater growth in profits. Through this period, there has also been a steady reduction of safety-related incidents. John has served on the university's Mining Engineering and Management Industrial Advisory Board, sharing his expertise to rebuild the program and guide students to their own successful careers. John, congratulations on being named a 2016 Distinguished Alumni Award recipient. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the 2016 Distinguished Alumni of the South Dakota School of Mines and Technology.
It is now my pleasure to introduce the representative of our senior class, Gina Rossi, a candidate for a bachelor's degree in civil engineering with minors in environmental engineering and sustainable engineering. She's from Pueblo, Colorado, and she is the daughter of Vince and Julie Rossi, who are with us here today. Gina is an exceptional scholar, but she's also been a great leader and a friend to many on this campus. She was the president of Circle K International Community Outreach Chair for the Professional Development Institute and Pan-Hellenic Delegate and Philanthropy Chair of Alpha Delta Pi sorority. She's been a student senator and is a gifted musician, an active member of the concert choir. In the spring of 2015, Gina studied abroad at the Novia University of Applied Sciences in Vasa, Finland, as a brass life scholar. She also completed 2 internships with Kiewit Corporation. Gina sent many of us a graduation announcement that made me laugh because it sounded so much like Gina. And it says a lot about why she's so well liked by her classmates. The announcement said, "My favorite things about engineering school: hikes and backpacking trips in the Black Hills and Badlands, prayer and fellowship at the Newman Center, the lifelong friends I made at Alpha Delta Pi sorority, blizzards that trap you for 4 days with good friends, studying abroad in Finland, telling people that I interned for a Fortune 500 company as a 19-year-old, visiting the iconic Mount Rushmore 10 times, and knowing that my education will help me make a difference in the world." Ladies and gentlemen, our senior class representative, Gina Rossi.
Good morning, everyone. Fellow graduates, it is an honor to have a few minutes to speak to you this morning. I hope that my words can capture some of the feelings you have about this place that we have called home for the past several years. You know, a lot of things have happened since we arrived. New dorms, a new wellness center, growing enrollment, new programs. Even our beloved mascot Grubby got a new costume. But today, I want to say a few words about something that I have noticed during my time at Mines, especially as I have neared this day. Frankly, it is that an engineering and science education ruins you. The School of Mines ruins you forever. Let me explain. While at home with my family last summer, I was constantly bringing up conversation topics that I realized reflected the way my thinking has changed while at Mines. Not only could I hold my own in discussions with my father, who during his tenure as a stay-at-home dad has learned about every topic under the sun, thanks to his own quest for lifelong learning, but I could also bring up interesting discussion topics of my own. Is this adulthood? But I slowly realized that to my family, these were just trivial fun facts about things they see but never gave a second thought. They were not the bread and butter of engineering that they seemed to me. One day, as I was growing increasingly perturbed that my conversation topics were not familiar to anyone in the house, I got a little dramatic and exclaimed, "Mom, engineering school has ruined me." How could I have known that after setting foot on this campus, I would never look at the world the same way again? Now, we are a band of brothers and sisters who can no longer allow our friends and families to mistake the difference between cement and concrete. Who won't leave for big trips without going through systematic checklists, a lot like lists of calculations that make sure our plans are mathematically possible. Who can't drive by construction projects without thinking about the types of girders chosen for the supports, or secretly wishing we were playing on the bulldozers, cranes, and loaders used to build the projects. Who can't get on a plane without thinking about the logistics of the airport and the intake, compression, combustion, and exhaust of the engines. Who can't walk by a binary clock without stopping to try to decode it. Who can't put gasoline in our cars without thinking about the mixture of isooctane and heptane filling our tanks. Who can't even go to parties without bringing up conversation topics like the heat transfer between our hands and the drinks we're holding, or discuss the cool rocks we saw on our hikes last weekend, or the ways to make the processes we see every day way more efficient. The School of Mines has ruined us. Our world is smaller and more fragile than ever. As the next generation of great leaders in engineering and science, we face complex problems and tough choices. Friends, what will you do? What can you do? Fortunately, the School of Mines has ruined us. We will not stick to the way things have always been done. We will ask questions, we will analyze the world around us, and we will forge new paradigms that will improve our future. John F. Kennedy said, "One person can make a difference, and everyone should try." Let us be stewards of the earth, let us work hard and do our best, and let us use our exceptional education and unique perspectives as engineers and scientists to positively impact the world. As we do that, let us never forget our parents, our siblings, our friends, our professors, our university, and our God, who got us to where we are today. This morning, we are graduating from this exceptional university. I congratulate you for what you have accomplished, and I look forward to what you will achieve. We may feel a little bit ruined, but for this, my friends, we will never be the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina. It is now my pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker, Amity Schlase. Amity is the author of 4 New York Times best-selling books, including The Forgotten Man, A New History of the Great Depression, The Greedy Hand, How Taxes Drive Americans Crazy, and Coolidge, the biography of the nation's 30th president. After graduating magna cum laude from Yale, Amity began her career as a journalist with the Wall Street Journal, writing on foreign policy, taxation, and political economy. Eventually, she served on the editorial board of the Wall Street Journal. Her syndicated column also appeared in the Financial Times and Bloomberg, and currently she appears in Forbes and National Review. She has received numerous awards for her writing, including the Hayek Prize for Writing in Political Economy, sponsored by the Manhattan Institute. She was the first winner of the Bastia Prize for Journalism, which was presented to her by Dame Margaret Thatcher. She was a J.P. Morgan Fellow for Finance and Economy at the American Academy in Berlin, and currently serves as Presidential Scholar at the King's College, and she has also taught at New York University's Stern School of Business. She chairs the board of the Calvin Coolidge Presidential Foundation. Amity and her husband, Seth Lipsky, who is the editor of the New York Sun, is with us here today, and they have 4 children. The South Dakota School of Mines and Technology is honored to recognize Amity Schle's many contributions to history, economics, and public policy with the awarding of the degree of Doctor of Public Service honoris causa. Upon the recommendation of the faculty and by action of the Board of Regents, I hereby confer upon Amity Schleis the honorary degree, Doctor of Public Service, with all of the rights, privileges, and honors, as well as the responsibilities thereto appertaining.
President Wilson, Regent Johnson, Dean Mann, faculty, family, and graduates of the class of 2016, congratulations. I want to thank you. I'm honored. My husband is honored, Seth Lipsky here, and we're very happy at this news and experience. We thank you. It's also, though, a pleasure for me to be here because someone from whom I learned a few things was in Rapid City before. That was President Calvin Coolidge, who served the nation from 1923 to 1929. Coolidge came here in the summer of 1927, so next June marks the 90th anniversary of the Coolidge Summer White House in Rapid City. You may know some of the Coolidge landmarks. You see the Coolidge name, campground, Coolidge Creek Road, and so on. One of the big items on the president's tourism list when he was here was a new project then just getting started, the presidential busts at Mount Rushmore. I don't know what you know about Coolidge. He was a modest man. The Boy Scouts gave the president a thoroughbred mare, 7 years old, named Kit, and he wasn't sure he could ride her. He didn't really fly fish as some other presidents do. You may know that Herbert Hoover visited here, and Herbert Hoover was such a master fly fisherman that he wrote a book about it. Coolidge fished with worms. He was also known as Silent Cal. To such an extent was he silent that there were many stories about it. A very famous one was when a society lady came up to President Coolidge and sat next to him and said, "I made a bet that tonight I could get you to say more than 2 words, President Coolidge." And the president said, "You lose." One story people do know is about Coolidge's ride to Rushmore. They staged the visit. They told Coolidge to ceremonially, sort of like today, hand a packet of dynamite to the sculptor Gutzon Borglum. Great presidents were getting these giant busts sculpted: Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln, Theodore Roosevelt, and Borglum liked outsized heroes, and the sculptor tried to flatter President Coolidge, so he said, "One day we'll have Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln, Theodore Roosevelt, and Coolidge up there." There's a video of this scene, and I can tell you that President Coolidge did not smile. He turned away a little too fast to be polite. You can see him walking fast, a little stiff, and you can speculate, why did he turn away from the sculptor and the honor? Well, one reason was money. Coolidge liked to save the government money, and he was afraid if he gave in and acquiesced, well, maybe then Gutzon Borglum would ask for more money from the federal government, right? Why else might Coolidge turn away at an honor offered? He knew Washington, Lincoln, Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt were great. He'd given admiring speeches about them. But some people speculate maybe Coolidge turned away because he was embarrassed, because he knew he was not great. After all, he didn't get elected president the first time. He became president because the president, Warren Harding, happened to pass away. And even today, the history books don't portray Coolidge as great. He is a more kind of footnote in the history books, if you remember, between giants, big men like Theodore Roosevelt and Franklin Roosevelt. Even some of his peers did not think Coolidge was great. In his hometown in Massachusetts, Northampton, a neighbor commented on this rather explicitly, and this was post-presidency. It was the school principal who said, "Nobody in Northampton thinks of Mr. Coolidge as a very great man." Right? On a day such as today, perhaps you're thinking about greatness as well. That's what we do on graduation day, and that's what people do often. Maybe you've had a lot of discussions about job application and your success. I congratulate you. Maybe for you, job interviews, someone suggested, brand yourself. Show how you're special. Market yourself. Marketing is part of a career. I think you've heard that. Maybe monitor your LinkedIn page or your Facebook page, Instagram. Send out your message. This is, in a way, tending to our own mini Mount Rushmores, right? The symbol of us that is visible to all. And that's the reason why it's good to talk about Coolidge, because his story demonstrates something else. You can admire the greats, but you don't have to be a great. What's important in any case is to do great things, which is different. Do great things. To the story of Coolidge. At the very beginning of his life, it wasn't clear that he could either be great or do great things. He wasn't a physical giant. I think he was 5'9". They stretched it and put 5'10" in the records. The records at his college, Amherst College, show that when he matriculated, Coolidge weighed 121. He started out not only skinny, but timid, more timid than most of you, silent cow. The year he started college, there were plenty of frats at his school. In fact, 8 in 10 men, it was a men's school, were somehow affiliated with a fraternity. And Coolidge fully expected that he would go in a fraternity. In fact, you can see from his letters that he was always already preparing his dad to know that this would cost some extra money, fraternity life. But on tap night, no one came for Calvin. Sophomore year, he had a little hope. The members were considering him at Beta Theta Pi. But Coolidge was actually blackballed by a boy named Dwight Morrow, very successful in the class. Coolidge only got into a frat senior year when a new one came to his campus. And when graduation day came, Coolidge graduated with only modest honors, not the best tassel, no job offer in that graduate's pocket. However, Coolidge's junior and senior year, he had a seminar teacher named Gorman who told him something about greatness. That teacher said, make your life be about service to projects and to other people. Don't think of your reputation so much of branding yourself. Think of what you can do in your trade. The teacher used an image that to reassure the graduating seniors. Life is like a river, the teacher said. The main thing is not to swim the river all the way right away, not to conquer right away. The main thing is just to get in the water. Hold to the mainstream once you're in the water. Stay in the water, maybe set a destination to swim to or float to, maybe a raft or a pier or a bend in the river. Ride along. Once you've reached one goal, go for the next goal and keep going, and maybe in the end you'll have done something great, achieved something great, gotten somewhere. So the week Coolidge graduated, he got in the river, and it wasn't clear he would make it. It's humbling to see that at every stage of his life, as we mentioned, I was his biographer, college, post-college, politics, Washington, Coolidge nearly drowned. Start with the first goal, becoming a lawyer. He almost didn't make it. Other boys, like that Dwight Morrow, they were sort of becoming friends, sort of, were going to law school, pulling ahead. But the Coolidges didn't have the money or didn't want to spend the money to pay for law school. So Coolidge persevered another way, by clerking for a lawyer till he was ready to sit the Massachusetts bar. He trained himself, he apprenticed, and he did pass. Coolidge wanted to serve in politics in Massachusetts where he lived, but he almost didn't get that opportunity. The other party members thought he was too quiet. He had that nickname, Silent Cal. So he commenced as low as you can, delivering envelopes, stuffing envelopes, monitoring votes. Then he finally got a job. He served as town solicitor, clerk, finally made it into the town governing body, town representative, and then he climbed slowly state rep, going to Boston, state senator, town mayor, state senate president, lieutenant governor, governor, and then America's vice president under Mr. Harding. Coolidge wanted to help the country, too. So when Harding died in the summer of '23, Coolidge was in shock. He was president. And as president, he had to target other goals down the river, goals that were already set by him personally or by his party. Young workers weren't keeping enough of what they earned, and successful businesses especially weren't either. Sometimes the government took half your money. His party wanted to cut the tax rate down, so the government took a quarter of your money to 25%. Young people were burdened because the government was building debt, and they knew that later on in their life they would have to pay taxes to cover that debt. I'm sure that's also a concern of yours. The party wanted to cut debt. Some workers worked 6 days in those years. The party wanted to pull the government back so businesses could expand and productivity could increase so you could do 6 days' work in 5 for the same money. And it wasn't clear that as a new president, Coolidge could do any of that. You've heard the term lame duck. It means an officer who has no power because everyone knows he's going to be out of office soon. Coolidge was the first president for whom the term lame duck was applied. But the lame duck swam hard and pushed forward some more. He did it by focusing on work, targets, not himself. He said, other people can be in the limelight, I'll take the midnight oil, work at my desk. And I know you've made that decision too, very hard sometimes. And he achieved each one of those goals. Cut top tax rate to 25%, check. Cut the debt by 1/3, the US debt, check. Make the government smaller, check. And the parents here will understand that if you want one fact to take away about Coolidge, he served 67 months as US president, and when he left office, the federal government was actually smaller than when he came in. Not by inflation-adjusted numbers, not by per capita. The number was actually lower. That's an enormous feat for a peacetime president. No peacetime president has matched it. Coolidge achievement, what's the result? Why should you care? These achievements fostered an economy that provided good jobs. People got electricity around then. People got their first Ford, their first car, and they got something else. I mentioned productivity. They got Saturday. Productivity gains from this era meant workers could achieve in 5 days what they had been able to achieve only in 6. By economic analysis, the 20s weren't just good, they were great. So you're thinking now, supposing, well, Coolidge is a Republican. What if I'm not a Republican? Will I approve of this? Maybe it's not great if I don't agree. But consider how, when you go to your first job, you'll grade yourself, or more importantly, your boss will grade you. You'll set some targets, and then we'll see whether you achieve them, right? By the measure of the targets that had been set for him, Coolidge achieved, and that's how we should estimate his character. He met his goals set by voters, set by party, set by himself, and we should give him a little credit for that. In Washington, D.C., in the late 20s, people began to admire Coolidge, even in the mid-20s, including some of those frat boys who had passed him by without saying hello. That same Dwight Morrow who blackballed Coolidge out of a frat was now one of his dearest friends and Coolidge's employee. Coolidge sent him to be ambassador to Mexico. How much Americans admired Coolidge came clear in 1924 when the lame duck had to run for election if he was going to stay in office. Usually when there are 3 parties, no one takes an absolute majority, a majority of all the rivals combined. All the winner gets is a plurality. Coolidge did have a 3-party race. The progressives were strong, many in this state, the Democrats and the Republicans, and Coolidge did win an absolute majority, taking more than 50% of the vote. Well, such victories do make you feel great, but they can also distract you. Coolidge knew he worked better when he didn't think of himself as great, when he thought of himself as a servant. Once when Coolidge was a little down in Washington, Senator Selden Spencer took him for a walk along Pennsylvania Avenue, and they passed the White House, and Senator Spencer was trying to cheer Coolidge up, so he said, "Who lives in that nice White House with the pretty pillars?" And Coolidge said, "Nobody. They just come and go." Coolidge brought the same humility with him to Rapid City in 1927. His office that summer, the summer White House, was at the old Rapid City High School. I think you know the building. There was a principal's office in the high school. The President of the United States gave the principal's office to his secretary, Mr. Sanders. That summer, right here, Coolidge had to make an important decision relating to greatness, whether to run again. Remember, he'd only been elected once. He could run again, have a second term after election, 2.5 terms. His party sure wanted him to run again because he was an easy shot by now, very popular. But he was concerned about the distractions of fame. After all, if you are in office 2 terms or more, you definitely are going for greatness. And he wrote something, "It is difficult for men in high office to avoid the malady of self-delusion. They are constantly, and for the most part sincerely, assured of their greatness. They are in grave danger of becoming careless and arrogant." So one day in early August in 1927, at the Rapid City High School, Coolidge handed out little rectangular pieces of paper to reporters. The paper said, "I do not choose to run for president in 1928. That was painful. No one thanked him. The Republican Party was really furious because now they'd have to find another candidate. They lost their sure winner, but he did it. And now I think you can guess why Coolidge turned his back at Mount Rushmore. It was not that Coolidge didn't respect great presidents. It was not that he was afraid he himself wasn't great. It was that in his case, his personal case, the temptation to be known as great was dangerous. So he was choosing not to go after the great label and to focus on strengthening his record of doing great things. I know you'll say that's not modern. We are in the era of the brand, but leaders such as Coolidge also exist today. I want to mention President Wilson is one of those people, the President Wilson here. President Wilson is super modest. I met her a long time ago, and it was only later that I learned that she had been in the first class of women at the Air Force Academy. Only later that I learned she worked on negotiations with the Soviet Union regarding nuclear arms, and only way later that I saw that she served on the National Security Council, and what a wonderful congresswoman she was for New Mexico, and how well she did here. Whenever President Wilson advanced, it was because of her record, not her brand. So if you walk away today with one lesson, let it be from the US president who came to Rapid City to stay for a whole summer and chose not to be on Mount Rushmore. Don't worry about being great, just set some goals and get in the river and stay there and concentrate on what your next destination is. And even if others who are clearly great get ahead of you, if that's okay, keep going. You'll reach more destinations. You'll get there. When you stay in the river for a strong career, and I know you will have strong careers, well, if you manage that, in my opinion, you will also be great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Amity. The South Dakota School of Mines and Technology operates under the authority of the South Dakota Board of Regents. This morning, we are pleased that Regent Katherine Johnson is with us to represent the board. Dr. Johnson is a graduate of the School of Mines, having earned a doctoral degree in geology in 1986. This April, she will be leaving the board after 12 years of exceptional service, and we will certainly miss her thoughtful leadership. We are very pleased that Regent Johnson's last commencement ceremony is with us here at Mines. Please join me in welcoming Regent Johnson.
Thank you, President Wilson. And to the honored guests, faculty, staff, parents, spouses, and friends, and most important, graduates of 2016. It's a delight for me to represent the South Dakota Board of Regents here today. Commencements are a celebration of the talent we have in South Dakota and the state's commitment to education. Graduates, I congratulate you on your achievements, and I bring you best wishes from the Regents. And to all of you out there that have been part of a support team, the Regents say thank you. We know the importance of friends and family to a graduate's success. But now to the graduates. I'm going to take this opportunity to say just a few words on my views of the responsibilities that come with your diploma. First of all, your diploma is very valuable. Not only will it get you that first job or place in graduate or professional school, it will forever be your ticket to opportunities reserved for college graduates. And despite its cost, it's the single most important investment that you've made in your future. And never in our history has education been as important as it is this moment. Everywhere you look, there are predictions about the United States falling behind in an educated workforce. The Department of Labor is continually reminding us of the high proportion of jobs, today's jobs, as well as those that will be created in the future that require post-secondary education. But besides your job, you will be stepping into an important role as an informed, participating citizen. An educated citizen is more likely to vote, pay taxes, and contribute to the community with volunteer service. And it is this social and economic participation that builds the strong communities, towns, cities, our state and nation. So looking forward, it will be up to you to be leaders in the efforts to support education, to keep education accessible. Each of you needs to be a champion of public higher education and make its case for support wherever and whenever you have a chance. Remind people every day of education's value in keeping our nation strong and competitive in the global marketplace. Get involved in the debates, the national and state levels, and make sure that the education you received is available to serve both the individual and the public good of those coming after you. But on this happy day, I'd like to reflect just a moment on the history of South Dakota School of Mines, the history that you are now a part of. Established in 1885, mines began preparing engineers and scientists. One at a time, spread over the globe, the graduates from here are making the world a better place. And now it's up to you. It's your turn. With your college experience behind you and your diploma in hand, I'm confident that you're prepared to take on the big challenges we face. And now, by the authority vested in me by the Constitution of the state of South Dakota, I hereby delegate to President Wilson the right to confer diplomas with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Thank you, Regent Johnson. Will the candidates for Bachelor of Science degrees please rise? By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents, I hereby confer upon you the degree Bachelor of Science with all of the rights, privileges, and honors, as well as the obligations and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Please be seated. Dr. Patricia Mann, Vice President for Student Development and Dean of Students, will present the degree candidates.
I will read only the names of those degree candidates who are present this morning. Those who were unable to attend, but whose names are listed in the commencement program, will be awarded their diplomas in absentia. We welcome and encourage your applause for each graduate, but we ask that you refrain from using air horns and other noisemakers so that we may preserve decorum and respect for the graduates, their families, and our visitors. As the graduates line up to receive their diplomas, families and guests are reminded that you're invited to come to the front to take pictures as the graduates shake hands with the president and march across the stage. Throughout the program, you will see graduates wearing special cords or stoles representing their fraternities, sororities, and national honor societies. The navy gold and white cords are worn by graduates who have completed the Mines Advantage Professional Development Program. Our 10 military veterans are wearing red, white, and blue cords in recognition of their service. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Applied Biological Sciences will be congratulated by Dr. Richard Sinden, Head of the Department of Chemistry and Biological Sciences, and Dr. Kate Alley, Associate Provost for Academic Affairs. Hannah Christina Cody, magna cum laude. Ashley Aaron Hermas. Brianna Mohammed Jaward, cum laude. Joseph Jula Petrus. Michelle Opal Woolforth, cum laude. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering will be congratulated by Dr. Rob Winter, Head of the Department of Chemical and Biological Engineering, and Dr. Kate Alley. Ricky Lee Hulls. Emily Iverson, cum laude. Sonia Polshere Lingani, summa cum laude. Alexis Joy Long, magna cum laude. Eric Michael McMillan. Ethan William Matheny. Kayla Marie Nemec, cum laude. Victoria Renee Ovison, summa cum laude. Jason Scott Pelkey. Taylor Jean Sands. Ambrose Puntiteri Tingen, cum laude. Candidate for the degree Bachelor of Science in Chemistry will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Sinden and Dr. Alley. Kirk Sneathen. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering will be congratulated by Dr. Scott Kenner, Head of the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering, and Dr. Alley. Devin Marie Ashe, cum laude. John Aaron Cahill. Trent William Caprero. Will Patrick Hoban. Sylvia Grace Iverson. Nicholas John Kasanke. Samuel James Latempt. John Thomas Lucas. Cameron Kennedy Luna. Dalton Morgan. Kylie Suzanne Payton. Caitlin Teal Reed. Gina Marie Rossi, magna cum laude. Samuel Lee Sorger. Matthew Stephen Wenzel. Candidate for the degree Bachelor of Science in Computer Engineering will be congratulated by Mr. Scott Roush, Interim Head of the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering, and Dr. Alley. Joshua Day Brest. Candidate for the degree Bachelor of Science in Computer Science will be congratulated by Dr. Kyle Riley, Head of the Department of Mathematics and Computer Science, and Dr. Alley. Marcus Allen Haberling. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering will be congratulated by Interim Department Head Mr. Roush and Dr. Alley. Daniel R. Carney. Yaakov Cohen. Matthew T. Daniel, cum laude. Christopher Kelly. Alexander Eric Noreen. Jeremiah Sutton. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Geological Engineering will be congratulated by Dr. Lori Anderson, Head of the Department of Geology and Geological Engineering, and Dr. Alley. Danielle Marie Dorn. Tucker Darwin Lofen. Jason J. Marvin, cum laude. William Zolan. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Geology will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Anderson and Dr. Alley. Audra Elizabeth Walter. Morgan Elizabeth Eckmark. James Jake Masholam. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Industrial Engineering and Engineering Management will be congratulated by Dr. Stuart Kellogg, Head of the Department of Industrial Engineering, and Dr. Alley. Michael Pedro and Angelo. Mohammed Ahmed Bafagi. Daniel Carter Bjorn. Daniel Carter Bjorn. Daniel Carter Bjorn. Reese Luther Buckles. Brianna Anna Lynn Conradi. Gannon James Gilbreth, cum laude. Austin Dean Lushart. Eric L. Seabury II. Luke Lorney Vangerpen, magna cum laude. Vaughn Javier Vargas. Jessica Jane Wolfe. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Interdisciplinary Sciences will be congratulated by Dr. Sue Shirley, Head of the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, and Dr. Alley. Amanda Yvonne Gearson. Brittany Nicole Tomich. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering will be congratulated by Dr. Daniel Dolan, Professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, and Dr. Alley. Jeremy Cheyenne Glenn Adams, cum laude. Michael Patrick Azel. Taylor Michael James Ballard. Logan James Burke. Dustin Stephen Dunn. Eric Ty Figuracion. Benjamin Alexander Fordyce. Courtney J. Heinen. Michael Allen Kurznak. Arik Anthony Lesperance. Joseph Robert Newkirk, cum laude. Casey Allen Nussbaumer. Mario Peña. Dominic Jordan Rubalcaba, magna cum laude. Matthew Aaron Savageau. Grady Sean Sheehy. Blake Michael Smith. Gary Ryan Smith, cum laude. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Metallurgical Engineering will be congratulated by Dr. Michael West, Head of the Department of Materials and Metallurgical Engineering, and Dr. Alley. Matthew Lee Dondelinger, cum laude. Tanner William Michael Jones. Isaac Daniel Pulsher. The candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Mining Engineering will be congratulated by Dr. Lance Roberts, Head of the Department of Mining Engineering and Management, and Dr. Alley. Mickey Lynn Callison, magna cum laude. Evan Colbert. Christina Miles. Candidate for the degree Bachelor of Science in Physics will be congratulated by Dr. Andrei Pechukoff, Head of the Department of Physics, and Dr. Alley. Joseph James Vandrell. That concludes the presentation of our baccalaureate diplomas.
Will the bachelor's degree recipients please rise? I offer you my personal congratulations and good wishes on behalf of the entire School of Mines family. You are now permitted to move the tassel on your mortarboard from right to left. Ladies and gentlemen, the South Dakota School of Mines class of 2016. You may be seated. Will the candidates for Master of Science degrees please rise? By virtue of the authority vested in me by the South Dakota Board of Regents, I hereby confer upon you the degree Master of Science, with all of the rights, privileges, and honors, as well as the obligations thereto appertaining, contingent upon the completion of all requirements.
Candidates for the degree Master of Science in Chemical Engineering will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Winter, Dean of Graduate Education Dr. Doug Wells, and Dr. Alley. Caitlin Elizabeth Crandall. Sarah Lee Rowe. Candidates for the degree Master of Science in Computational Sciences and Robotics will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Riley, Dean Wells, and Dr. Alley. Rachel Marie Crone. Charles Neef Parsons. Candidates for the degree Master of Science in Construction, Engineering, and Management will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Kinner, Dean Wells, and Dr. Alley. Ethan Doyle. Stephen Fritsch. Cody Mason. Robert Lee Miller. Casey Helene Wheeler. Candidates for the degree Master of Science in Electrical Engineering will be congratulated by Interim Department Head Mr. Roush, Dean Wells, and Dr. Alley. Mohammed Mineral Alam Khan. Minnie Kanal. Shuraz Singh. Candidates for the degree Master of Science in Engineering Management will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Kellogg, Dean Wells, and Dr. Alley. Melissa Bjorn Anderson. Shalane D. Moore. Godwin Chakuameka Obi. John Daniel Phelps. Candidates for the degree Master of Science in Geology and Geological Engineering will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Anderson, Dean Wells, and Dr. Alley. Amy Marie Fry. Anthony Michael Gesualdo. Candidates for the degree Master of Science in Materials Engineering and Science will be congratulated by Program Coordinator Dr. John Keller, Dean Wells, and Dr. Alley. Shaw Jean Ma. Vicki Lynn Prout. Devin Jackson Rowe. Candidate for the degree Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Dolan, Dean Wells, and Dr. Alley. Elizabeth Renee Pierce. Candidates for the degree Master of Science in Mining Engineering and Management will be congratulated by Department Head Dr. Roberts, Dean Wells, and Dr. Alley. Anul Basal. Manoj Kirtipati. That concludes the presentation of the master's degrees.
Will the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy degrees please rise? By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents, I hereby confer upon you the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all of the rights, privileges, and honors, as well as the obligations and responsibilities thereto appertaining, contingent upon the completion of all requirements.
Candidates for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Chemical and Biological Engineering, please come forward to receive your diploma and hood and be congratulated by your major professors, Department Head Dr. Winter, Dean Wells, and Dr. Alley. Ali Reza Asi Ya'i. Dr. Kenneth Benjamin, Major Professor for Ali Reza, will assist with the hooding. I now present Dr. Ali Reza Asi Ya'i. Timothy Marion Schenk. Dr. Kenneth Benjamin and Dr. Rob Winter, co-major professors for Timothy, will assist with the hooding. I now present Dr. Timothy Schenk. Ian Thomas Walters. Dr. Rajesh Shendi and Dr. Jan Pashinsky, co-major professors for Ian, will assist with the hooding. I now present Dr. Ian Walters. Candidate for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Geology and Geological Engineering, please come forward to receive your diploma and hood and be congratulated by your department head, Dean Wells, and Dr. Alley. Theodore C. Donovan. Dr. Lori Anderson, department head for Theodore, will assist with the hooding. I now present Dr. Theodore Donovan. Candidates for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Materials Engineering and Science, please come forward to receive your diploma and hood and be congratulated by your major professor, Program Coordinator Dr. Keller, Dean Wells, and Dr. Alley. Anne Marie Elizabeth Suriano. Dr. Stan Howard, Major Professor for Anne Marie, is assisting with the hooding. I now present Dr. Anne Marie Suriano. Ben Yao. Dr. Alvatina Smirnova, Major Professor for Ben, will assist with the hooding. I now present Dr. Ben Yao. That concludes the presentation of the doctoral degrees.
The privilege of a university president is the conferral of degrees on the students our faculty and staff have taught, mentored, and guided. If we have succeeded through the experiences you have had here, you have become a better version of yourself than you were on the day you arrived at the School of Mines. From this day forward, you are marked men and women. You are alumni of the South Dakota School of Mines and Technology. Congratulations to all of you. The School of Mines has consistently been rated as one of the top schools in the country for veterans and military service members. And today, we are honored to have 18 veterans receive their diplomas. We also have an active ROTC, Reserve Officer Training Corps, and each year we prepare leaders in engineering and science who earn commissions as officers in the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines. Today, 3 graduates receive both a Bachelor of Science degree and a commission as second lieutenants in the United States Army. At this time, Lieutenant Colonel Elvis Coronado, head of our Department of Military Science, will administer the oath of commissioning to Cadets Benjamin Fordyce, Eric Lesperance, and Dalton Morgan. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand.
Gentlemen, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Having been appointed an officer in the Army of the United States, in the rank of second lieutenant, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter. So help me God. Congratulations, gentlemen.
As we close our commencement ceremony, I want to thank the University Orchestra under the direction of Tammy Schnickren and the 174th Commencement Committee and others who contributed to make this event a success. We now request that you remain standing until the colors have been retired and the academic recessional has been completed. Thank you for joining us today, and congratulations to the class of 2016. Retire the colors.